preference to accept the risk in favor of more liberalized food intake. That's what I want when I go to the nursing home in a few years. Don't be putting me on honey thick liquids. You're going to get a kick. Even if I'm nonverbal, I'm going to let them know how I feel about honey thick liquids and pureed pork chops. We used to say we were going to tattoo it on our chest. Fraser Water Protocol, nursing home only, please, you know, so they would know where to take us. But Kathy and I there's so many people doing it now that it's not such a risk as it used to be. It used to be, you know, it would be very hard to find one. Poor Kathy, she had a situation where her nephew was in a terrible car accident. And he was sent to the one nursing home in Kentucky that doesn't do the Fraser Water Protocol. So she was like, we're either going to move him or you're going to put him on a water protocol, because my nephew was not going to dehydrate. And by the time she got there, he was grossly dehydrated already. He wasn't having any urine output. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to dehydrate. And of course, it's so serious. It's one of the worst things you can do to a human being. Now, last in this section, let's talk about, some of you may know, the older clinicians in the audience may know who Suzanne Evans Morris is. She's the mother of pediatric swallowing. An absolutely brilliant, wonderful, probably one of the most amazing women in the field. She often, when there's a war on the listserv and people are arguing with Irene and people are coming on and screaming and Jim Coyle gets on and yells back at somebody, it's she who often comes on at the very end of the argument and says something very intelligent like this. I think we need to consider the possibility that one of the main reasons why therapists see progress with many techniques or approaches is that their own enthusiasm and the patient's belief that a positive change is happening can actually stimulate massive self-healing or the placebo response. They were talking about vital stim, I think, when this came out. The therapist's enthusiasm and confidence and the patient's confidence can support a great deal of internal change. We must always remember that we don't fix or heal the people, they heal themselves. We are coaches and facilitators, but recovery of function or acquisition of a new skill comes from within that person we are working with. Brilliantly said. Have to keep that in the back of our minds all the time. And I think that's a lot of what's been happening with some of the different techniques we've seen in the last few years, like vital stim. What's really happening there? Is it really affecting muscles that really matter in swallowing, or is it just hitting surface electrode muscles? You know, these are the kinds of things you have to be asking yourself when you look at some of the outcomes we've seen. Any questions on all of this? Interesting place to start. Because we're going to talk about all these things: oral care, dehydration, diets, and so for me, this is a great way to begin, you know, the 2-day lecture.